chewing on bones, and the correct term for that is osteophagia. Osteophagia. Well done, Pamela and Sharon.
I'm sure that crosses to plan B. Okay, copy.
Here we go. So it's a small tree species. This is actually quite a big version of this tree. Normally stays a bit smaller, and it's got nice big thorns and a very distinct bark. So who can tell me which tree this is? You can send your answers to questions@wildearth.tv, or you can just use the hashtag #SafariLive on Twitter. And the last little clue about it is, because I've said this before, it's to do with its Latin name. I always say you have to be very exuberant to tackle it. That is the clue for that. You have to be very exuberant to tackle that tree. So I am heading down towards a bad signal area again. So if we do have any breakup, I apologize.
Coming down to Professor there.
Out of the dip. So the light just seems to be getting better and better. We need to find an animal to put in it. Guys, it looks like I've got one that's going to catch you a little bit again. So we've had a few answers in: a porcupine bush, a red thorn, a red acacia, and a paperbark tree. It is none of those so far. Also, in certain areas, it's quite a favorite food of black rhino. Not in this area though. raíza. That is correct. It is a flaky thorn. The Latin name is Acacia exuvialis. That's why it always reminds me when you see it, and especially it can occur in quite thick stands. You have to be quite exuberant to jump through an exuvialis. Well done, raíza. Welcome Simone on Sunset Safari, and Simone also got it correct, and with the Latin name as well, Acacia exuvialis. The sun's dipping low. It's time for the predators to start moving, so fingers crossed. We're going to start slowly making our way towards Buffelshoek Dam. While we do that, we're going to cross over to James and see what he's been up to, and we'll be back with you a little later.
Welcome back to Jiga, everyone. As you can see, we are not looking at a small spotted cat, but a large cud-eating bovid, aka the African buffalo. Tracks of that leopard wandered off into the next door property. We do have a bit of access there, but we're going to pop around there sort of as the sun goes down. We're going to make our way there from here and just see if he doesn't pop out as the darkness falls, or as the twilight comes and the edge of the heat comes off the day. It hasn't been a very hot day, but it's certainly been warm enough to lay a cat out on the ground. And so as it cools down, we're hoping that will change slightly. We seem to be doing quite a lot of finishing our evenings off with these buffalo. We're certainly spending some time with them. I think they're rather magnificent creatures. You can see there that so if there's a wound, if there's a slight cavity or slight wound, the oxpeckers will generally try and keep that open for a while because it provides an easy source of blood for them. But they do clean the wound of sort of infection by doing that, so it's not entirely bad for the poor old beefalo. These chaps are looking particularly forlorn about life. I say buffalo look at you as though you owe them money. These ones just look very depressed and in need of a strong dose of Prozac. I suppose they're probably feeling depressed about the fact that their life as big mating bulls at the head of a huge herd is over. And they have nothing but a retirement of grass and mud, water and oxpeckers to look forward to. Still, things could be worse, I suppose. I wouldn't mind that life. As you're probably aware, they're called Daga boys or Umdaga boys. The word Umdaga is a Zulu. It's slightly bastardized depending on on the area that you're in, but it is a Zulu word, and of course Zulu is not the native language in this area. That is Shangan or Tsonga. I know there was a bit of a debate over whether those two languages were the same thing. Xitsonga and Xitsonga are pretty much the same language, but isiZulu is from Natal and not from this area, but we still call these old buffalo Daga boys or Umdaga boys. A Bafana Bomdaga. Right, we're going to carry on because despite the fact that they're standing up, they're not exactly high energy action, these buffalo. So we're going to head back gently around to where the leopard tracks were to see if we aren't lucky. They might pop onto the road as the sun goes down. Cheers, fellows. Those oxpeckers were, of course, the red-billed oxpeckers, as opposed to the yellow. This fellow, well, not too bad. If you listen carefully, yesterday we spoke about the bearded woodpecker. You can hear one knocking in its territorial ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta on a hollow tree just nearby. See if he does it again. I hope you caught that. Do you think they heard that?
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So that's the bearded woodpecker. I'm just going to show you a quick picture. And he's one of the 4 woodpecker species that we get in the area. Remarkable things. I mean, if you were to bash your head against a tree at that sort of velocity and made a noise like that, you'd be concussed for weeks. The woodpecker is able to do it because they have a spongy sort of shock-absorbing substance around the brain. So their brains, that's the bearded woodpecker there. These are not really to scale. He's quite a big fellow. You can see the male is distinguished by his red head and the female by her lack of a red head. They will both probably do the territorial call or territorial tap. So their brain is shielded by a sort of spongy substance that absorbs the shock as they smash their heads against hard wood. Very unadvisable for you to try as a human being. Again, I say that the senses, you know, it's very easy for us to transfer the sound and the sight of this area to you, but the feelings or the feel of the air and on the leaves and the vegetation, the taste of the air and these glorious smells. That's one of the main reasons I love living in the bush, is for the incredible smells. Very subtle, not very powerful smells, unless you happen to come across some lion dung, which is likely to strip the paint off the Land Rover. But otherwise, just very sweet, earthy, gorgeous smells all the time, especially at this time of the day. We do our best to describe them to you. Now this plant has a fairly nasty Afrikaans name. because it's its real name, I'm going to tell you what it is. Does that work for you, Andrew? Far enough away?
That's perfect, yeah.
It's called a bushman's grape, or Cissus cornifolia, and in Afrikaans it's called perdipus, which means the urine of the horse. I've ridden many horses in my time, and I suppose its smell is quite like the urine of a horse. Not very nice. And that smell it will defend it from grazers. But the fruit is actually very delicious when it comes in the late summer. Cissus cornifolia, the bushman's grape, the English name being far more attractive than its Afrikaans counterpart. And that certainly is a common theme. We're going to cross back to Brent, who thinks that his sunset is prettier than my sunset. He's very aesthetically skilled, as our Brent. So we'll cross back to him, and I'll head over to the leopard track, and we'll see you just now.
Welcome back, everyone. Brian and I have made it to Buffalo's Hook Dam. Unfortunately, no cats or predators, but it is actually an absolutely stunning setting at the moment. Buffalo's Hook Dam, which has been devoid of buffalo for quite a while, as you can see over my shoulder, is no longer devoid of buffalo. It's living up to its name, which translated basically means buffalo corner, and there's probably about 25 or 30 buffalo bulls around us at the moment. But we've got a really nice setup here. We've got a hippo in the dam, and we've got buffalo with the sun setting behind them. And they're probably not going to be around the dam for too much longer. I've seen some of them have started already moving away, and they're going to move up towards the high ground on the crests where it's a bit warmer during the evening. You can hear the oxpeckers. They just landed on those buffalo there. See them on the back. But I can see it's been bleeding recently, and that's more than likely from the oxpeckers. There you can see that he's getting annoyed with the oxpeckers, because not only do they eat the ectoparasites like ticks, they will often eat blood, so they will keep a wound like that open on an animal. You can see that coloration on the horns, and that's from rubbing against trees, and you can just see that mass of moving flies on his horns. Battle-scarred old man. Wonderful time of the day. And there's the hippo. Getting ready to sit on a night foraging, I'm sure. Be in search of grass. Just think, when we were here on the sunrise safari, we could actually, it was so cold, we could see his breathing.
Ja, ik is nog iets op bij die optrekkers.
There's more buffalo on the opposite bank. But very quiet. I can hear a francolin. Sounds like some canaries as well. But not much in terms of bird life or animal life in sound.
Able the guys to keep quiet on the vehicle.
You see, those are the ones that have started moving up already, away from the water's edge. They'll start moving towards the crest of the hills. And I think these guys are not going to be too far behind. So if might have in a little bit, we are sitting at Buffalo's Hook Dam at the moment. We've scoured we haven't basically going past all the different water holes and seeing what we can find, and hoping we find some tracks. And here at Buffalo's Hook Dam we found a young male hippo and probably about 25 or 30 old buffalo bulls that have come down and spent the day here. Oh, right. It's one of your favorites. Hovering. Here we go. There's a pied kingfisher. It's hovering above the dam, trying to get the last meal before it gets dark. Amazing how they can hover like that, looking for small fish. Oh, into the sun. Literally into the sun now. Oh, he's come out. He's off to the left. We all lost sight of him there. We've got. Come on, catch something. It's actually almost directly above the hippo now. Trying to see maybe if there's little fish feeding off the hippo's feces. Darting around the dam, just trying to find a last meal before night sets in. Like the fish are not being that cooperative this evening. Whoop, sip, sip. Just on the edge of the sun. Isn't that exquisite? Oh, almost. Pulled out at the last second. Oh. Such a beautiful image. Now the sun's dipping down, kingfishers given up, and now the sun's just about to disappear below the horizon. I'm quite sure a lot of these old buffalo boys are going to be moving on quite shortly. Hi Blair. Blair from Canada is saying, is the Birchall starling and the Cape glossy starling the same bird with two different names? They sure look alike to her inexperienced eye. Wow, isn't that amazing that buffalo is deciding to cross right through the dam? It looks like another two are going to follow suit. Isn't that beautiful? That sort of golden water shimmering off the wake made by those buffalo. The hippo watching on behind. Well, Blair, it's back to your question about the starlings. Fortunately, there's a Birchall starling here, so to answer your question, they are definitely not the same species with different names. They are different species. The Cape glossy starling is a bit smaller than the Birchall starling. Also, the main big difference is they have a slightly different type of iridescence, but also the eye color is very, very different. I see. So Blair, I hope that helps you to we're going to make our way off to the next point to keep our water. What he's been up to, I'm pretty sure he's still fighting the good fight, trying to find you guys a leopard, and we'll catch up with you a little later and drive.
I expected to find the leopard in. As you can see, there is no leopard in this tree. So it came in off the road and through this area, and we've been checking it down through the marula trees, which are on top of the marula trees. Continue back on and towards an area where we saw some male leopard tracks earlier, and we're hoping maybe when the sun's down he might pop out. All right, here I come. Sure, I survived. Sorry, I can't work this radio. Tell it to shut up. Okay, on we go. So the tracks came in sort of from behind us there into this general area. But as I said earlier, the leopards of this region have made me look a fool more than once. I'll have you know that Andrew made me climb that tree. The other reason to leave the area at the moment, of course, is that once it gets dark, we won't shine a light on a young leopard without its mother. Don't want to put too much pressure on them. Glorious sunset going on there. Can you get us to the trees there, Andrew? A little bit forward, a little bit forward. A little bit forward. There we go. Too much. There you are. Take a screenshot, everyone. Stick it on your wall. And into my favorite time of the day. And the energy of the bush just picks or changes to the night. And the immense peace of the changing of the guard fills the air. It's like the earth is sighing all around. We've had an answer to our question, the word umdaga. Somebody, or a few of you have come through and said it means mud, and that is absolutely correct. I wonder if any of you know how to spell it, though. I'm not going to tell you. So as I was saying, it just feels like the earth is now breathed out from the, I wouldn't say tension of the day, but it's breathed out, and it's almost going to breathe in again a different kind of energy for the nighttime. And you can't feel it from where you are. Maybe you can, but where we're sitting, where Andrew and I are sitting now in the middle of a block, there are no roads anywhere near us. We can just feel a sense of from the earth around us. It's just a magnificent feeling. So we're going to move gently on around, back to the road, and then down and around. Presumes I can find the road from here without breaking the car. me adjusting my seat there. I'm not of vast stature, so I have to sit on a fairly substantial pile of cushions. Oops, you're right. There's the leopard. We found him. How fantastic is that? I feel like I've just won the World Cup. Well, that is just fantastic, everyone. I'm just going to let him settle with our presence, and then I'll get a bit closer. Look at him watching us. Right, I'm just going to move very slowly closer to him. I don't know this leopard as well as many of you do, so I'm not sure how relaxed he's going to be. But let's just sneak slowly closer. And again, I'm just going to reiterate that we won't put a light on him because he's on his own without his mum. Try as far as possible not to approach him front on, because the Land Rover's got two big eyes on the front of it, but from this angle it's going to be difficult, so we'll try to go in at an angle. Can you see him, Andrew?
Yes.
I don't want to get too close. He's not that comfortable. Tell me when you can get a picture.
This should be good, I think.
Okay. Isn't that magnificent? So from where we were thrashing around in the bush earlier this afternoon, he's about 150 meters. We were on the wrong side of the road. As I said, the traffic is quite a lot on that road during the day, so we missed his tracks. Someone else from just next door found them and told us where to look. And so we came in on the tracks hoping to bump into him like this. I think if I hadn't dropped the Land Rover into that hole, he wouldn't have sat up and we wouldn't have seen him. Just let him settle for a while. I will try and get a slightly closer view of his face. I wonder if anyone there in the Twitter sphere, it's a very modern word for me, or anyone online can tell me what his spot pattern is. Okay, he's got quite a complex spot pattern. Just to reiterate for you, as he sits up, look at him there. This is an 8-month-old leopard, apparently called Shadow, or Shadow's cub. Still in his mother's territory, no doubt. You can see he's a little fellow. He's got 3 or 4 spots on the right-hand side. 1, 2, 3. 3 spots on the right. He's perfect coat. Look at him. Isn't he magnificent? Look how gorgeously he blends into the bush there, heading towards the termite mound. But we're going to follow up for a little while. As I say, it's starting to get dark. And, I mean, we've had a wonderful sighting already. Put my hat back on, otherwise my bald patch will blind you. I'm going to stop while that other vehicle's moving because he's a cub. I don't want to put too much pressure on him. So I'm just going to let the other vehicle stop first before I move again. Yeah, you can see he is feeling slightly threatened. So while the other vehicle stopped, we'll move. Can we get in there? And this, of course, is the best possible light to be watching a leopard in. And where we can see color there, many antelope will see a level of color, but probably much less than we do. Oh, look, he's found something to stalk. And so that color that he is will be almost invisible to something like an antelope dappled up against that termite mound. What do you think he's going to jump? Oh. He's going to cut his belly if he tries to climb in that tree. The tree that he's standing underneath is a knobthorn with very nasty thorns on it. As I say, we don't light we don't light young leopards. Well, some do. It's probably fine. He's almost old enough to be lit. just going to try and move around the side. Once they've moved, there seems to be a little bit of concern in the Twitter sphere that he may have moved too far from his mum. The answer is no. They will move. I've seen sort of 8-month to a year-old leopard. They'll move quite widely from where their mothers leave them. Remember, their ears are exceptional. So when their mothers get back into the area, they'll give a contact call, a little grunt, a little ooh, ooh. And that'll be audible to that leopard from a very long way away, and they'll find each other like that. Side, it might make him feel a bit threatened. Mauricia, thanks for your question and welcome to this spectacular sighting at the end of the glorious African day. You'd like to know if Shadow, who is his mother as far as I understand it, would leave him and go quite far away. The answer is yes. She would go to the extent of her territory, which could be up to probably 150 hectares or so, which is quite a lot. And so she would go all over that area, but like I say, she won't leave him for more than, say, 2 or 3 days at a time. They can go without food for up to 2 or 3 days. More likely 24 hours.
Basically, this is time that he has to fill basically learning how to be a leopard, because his mum can only really teach him so much. So the rest he has to find out the hard way, which is usually by trial and error. And that includes like sort of what to catch. Leopards are interesting because they eat just about anything from insects, birds, reptiles such as lizards and snakes, right the way mammals from...
You can imagine if he puts his head down there, that'll be the last you see of him. So it'll be very difficult, had he been lying there earlier on with his head down, for anything to have come past and seen him. His major threats on his own like this without his mother would come from lions or hyenas, both of which he could escape quite easily by climbing a tree. And I mean, he would even go into that fairly nasty knobthorn if he had to. He is also, of course, extremely fast. fascinating updates you've sent me. Thank you. From apparently the inimitable Brent Leo Smith managed to get some photographs, close-ups of his face today, and confirming that the right-hand side is 3 spots and so is the left. So a 3-3 spot pattern. Thank you very much for that, and well done, Brent. The little lens on my camera, I'm afraid, would barely get that termite mound in frame. Andrew, would you mind just zooming all the way out quickly? That to me is just a wonderful, wonderful example of how gloriously they're able to hide. You could blunder past that 100 times without seeing it. Just his little ears sticking up through the grass, sorry, not glass. Thanks, Andrew.
Let's just test it.
How easily would you see that if you didn't know it was there? That's pretty much the view we have with the naked eye. Quite like a lion, they've got those black tips to the back of their ears. Black and white, pure black and white, are very unusual colors in the bush. And so that black color is a following mechanism, most likely, that allows him to follow his mother, and likewise. Okay, I'm going to try and get another view, but like I say, I'm not going to get too close to him. See, as soon as both vehicles start moving around, you get a little bit dancing. You'll feel slightly cornered, and we don't want that to happen. He's now stalking us. Isn't that spectacular? Hello, fella. Oh, what a magnificent animal. Look at him, just learning the world. Finding his way. Big stretch before he comes down. Oh, elegant as only a cat can be. I'm actually going to see if my little camera won't take a picture of him.
a baby.
Nice, epic National Geographic standard photograph coming up.
Still a baby, still getting
Brent, read him and weep. Oh dear, we can just about see him. Change me at stop.
At this age, you get up to lots of trouble. He's almost the same size as his mother. She was very small. He's 9 months old.
Nigel would like to know if this leopard came across other young leopards, would they fight? No, Nigel. Well, you never give a categorical answer with anything like this, but chances are they wouldn't fight, no. What they would do is size each other up. Highly unlikely that they would, given that they're in their mother's territories, and their mother's territories are almost exclusive. So, no, they wouldn't fight. If say they met on the border of the territories, they may well have quite a playful interaction, but at this stage, before puberty, it's highly unlikely that they would fight. Remember, a leopard will do almost everything it can to avoid a fight, even as an adult, simply because if they get injured, then that's the end of it. So if you live in a group like a hyena or a lion does, then you can survive being in a fight, because you can eat from what the others in your clan or your pride or your pack catch. But a leopard or a cheetah, if they get injured, that's it for them. They won't survive because they won't be able to hunt, and because they're solitary, they can't hunt, and because of that, their characters have evolved so that they will avoid fighting as much as possible. Still see his spots going off there. How's it going? Got no game drive comms, sorry about that.
I do, so it's fine.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Sure.
Anything you know of happening in the Wales vicinity?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No.
There's, do you come on Simple Meeting?
No.
No. Okay, there's a couple of breakaway gardeners there.
Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. See ya.
I said I'd keep it to a 2-vehicle lock.
Okay. All right. We'll pull out.
I'm going to pull out right now.
Okay. That was another game drive who you saw in the picture earlier. We met somebody just now who was out here simply because they had seen some of the wonderful things that we've managed to find on Safari Live. We just met a guest on another vehicle who came here specifically because of Safari Live, which was very exciting. Okay, I think we're going to leave in now. There's just quite a lot of activity. It's got dark, and like I said, I don't want to shine a light on him. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to take a Brent beating photograph with my little camera, so that'll have to wait for now. But we've had an incredible evening with him. So we're going to pull out onto the road, and I think we'll cross back to Brent just to see what he's managed to find. And then I'll catch up with you just before the end.
Welcome back, everyone, to a magnificent African evening here on the Sunset Safari. Ryan and I are just keeping really quiet and standing by in this area. We're trying to listen for any sign of alarm calls of that. I'm convinced that female leopard whose tracks we're following this morning is somewhere in this area. So we've just been sitting quietly here, enjoying the wonderful view, and just waiting to possibly hear any alarm call. But it's the right time of the day for her to get moving. Still think we're going to probably try another loop around the area we think she might be. But we're just going to sit still for another minute or so and just listen to the sounds of the evening, and hopefully we'll hear some alarm calls in that. So we can hear some Franklin. They're not alarm calling, unfortunately. You can hear a blacksmith lapwing somewhere. But Franklin definitely the most dominant call at the moment. Okay guys, we're going to get on the road again. We haven't heard anything. I think Brian and I are going to keep with that water theory and try some of the small water hole in front of Gallagher again. We have a question from Meg in Boston. Hi Meg, welcome on the Sunset Safari. Nice to have you with us. Meg would like to know what are my favorite areas in Arethusa and in Djuma. Well, Meg, that's quite an interesting question. I have a few favorite areas. Let's get my spotlight out. So Meg, I'll start with Djuma. I think probably my most favorite area in Djuma, there's two of them and they're not actually on the roads. You can only walk there. Oh, it's from Impala heading down to the safety of the open area. There's a section of a lot of little drainage lines filled with beautiful Tumbuerti trees and whatnot, in between Mumba Road and Ledwood Road, but it's very difficult to get a car in there, and it's really, really beautiful place to walk. So that's probably one of my favorite spots on Djuma. Another one would be the northern side of the drainage line below the Vuyatela Dam wall. There's a beautiful section with the really big jackalberries and stuff. Again, not on the road, but we have driven through there a few times following animals. And then I'll keep it to 3 on Djuma. I think another definite one of my favorite spots is that whole of Drakensberger Road and that whole sort of eastern boundary area. I just find it very beautiful, lovely seep lines and big silver cluster leaves, big marulas, and just a really, really beautiful spot. And I've had such success with finding leopard and lion in that area. Oh, I think I see a bush baby. There you go. He might have been in the tree behind this one. Oh, he did a bush baby vanishing act.
Yeah, Dion, I'm trying out. You want to? Yeah,
I really do love this just after sunset, and always anticipation that you're going to find something walking down the road towards you. It's big cat time now.
Yeah, ball. Thanks, man. Yeah, Lee, what you want? Yeah,
So I'm convinced that that female leopard is somewhere in this vicinity. I mean, I've checked twice already, but it's always really important to keep checking these areas, and especially at this time of the day, when it is likely that they're going to start moving. Oh, back to the rest of the question. My favorite section of Arethusa must definitely be the Morakiri drainage. That area where we saw the Tingana male leopard with that impala kill a few days ago. That whole section along that drainage line. And we have a bush baby jumping. Oh, they're so quick. And see? Yeah, he's done the disappearing act. It was a little lesser bush baby, not a particularly relaxed one. They're all getting out to go foraging at the moment. And then the next area I really like in Arethusa is on the crest, sort of between the drainage line that runs into the dam and their southern boundary, the road there called Central Road, and it's wonderful, mature, broadleaf woodland on top there. And again, big terminalias and leadwoods and marulas. To arrive at the waterhole, and nope. Andre from Florida. Andre was wondering how flash photography might affect predators. I think there were some flashes going off when you were with James and that young male leopard. Andre, it doesn't affect them at all. It's really not a problem. They absolutely do not mind it at all. It doesn't affect their behavior or their movements, so not a problem at all. You don't get as nice photographs, in my opinion, rather than using the light of the spotlight, but in terms of affecting the animal, not a problem. Cooling down quite quickly now. As I said, this time of the day you're almost always looking around the next corner, just waiting to see one of the nocturnal mammals carousing around. So, nothing here. We're going to check down towards the Djuma Dam camp. Maybe a little bit more luck in that direction. Hi Kathleen, welcome on the Sunset Safari. Kathleen would like to know, are there still chameleons around? I have not seen any for a while, Kathleen. I think the cold weather has set in, and I think we're going to have to wait until it warms up again to start seeing chameleons. You never know, we might get lucky and find one or two late season chameleons, but I think especially after it dropping down to about 14 degrees this morning, I think our chameleon hunting days are over. So we're just checking the top end of the dam here in this drainage line, hoping maybe she might be heading down out this direction, but unfortunately not. Listen for a few seconds.
Yeah, correct. The mobile incident.
we've just got a really incredible message in from Angie in Ohio and the Dayton's Children Cancer Unit. All the nurses are wanting to thank us for putting a smile on the children's faces. We want to thank you guys for allowing the children to be able to watch that, and we couldn't think of anything better than spreading our love and passion for the African bush and wildlife with those very special kids. Thank you very much, Angie. We really do appreciate it. This is why we do what we do, and are able to come and share the African bush with all of you. Thank you very much for watching, and to all the kids out there, I hope you guys get better soon, and you guys got to keep watching, and when you get better you're going to have to come on an African safari. So we've got a few more minutes left. We've scoured this area where I've thought the female leopard was possibly. I'm still convinced she's in the area somewhere, but she's just proving a little bit too elusive for me this evening, but definitely be trying again tomorrow. And from Brian and myself here on the Wendy, it's been a wonderful afternoon. We haven't had the best luck with the big things, but that sunset at Buffelshoek Dam was just splendid, and thankfully we've had James bearing the brunt and having to do the hard work for us when we had a bit of a technical difficulty, and he came through and found that young male leopard. So really great for James on the other side, and we've had a wonderful time driving around trying to find animals. It doesn't matter if you don't see anything out here. It is the most special place in the world, and I love being out even when there are no animals out. But hopefully our predator luck will change a bit tomorrow, and we'll have a few more of them around. Hopefully those lions that were roaring on the sunrise safari are moving back towards this direction, or even the Nkahuma Pride, which I know is quite far away. They apparently have gone way north. So from Brian and myself out here, thanks very much for joining us, and we can't wait to go again tomorrow with you. So wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful day or morning or evening, and we'll see you soon.
Well everyone, as you can see, night has fallen in Africa. I'm sure you saw that with Brent. Andrew and I are still flush with the sense of victory after that magnificent leopard, and we're just making our way slowly back to camp and seeing what we can see on the way. Talking to you and shining the spotlight is something of a difficulty for me because I don't multitask very well, but what I do want to do is show you my award-winning photograph that I took. So I'm just going to stop up here and show it to you. It's not really award-winning. I'm just going to show you the sunset that we managed to see. Here is my enormous camera. Isn't that pretty? There's the star.
Move it a little bit back. Yeah.
Beautiful trees. So I do have a camera. It's a very small little fellow like that. Not quite as large as Brent's, but then Brent is a larger human than I, and therefore wields a larger camera. I hope that you've had a good time with us this evening. Andrew and I were just discussing whether or not hard work actually pays off out here, and Andrew was deciding that it didn't, until we managed to find the leopard eventually, and what a great sight it was. I suspect that he will spend much of the evening where he was in that area. He'll move much less at night without his mum. She may or may not come back to fetch him tonight. As Andrew asked me, he said, will she stash the prey in a tree and then go and fetch him, or what would she do? And that's precisely what she would do. She'd kill something, hang it in a tree, or hide it under a bush if it was something very heavy. So if it was something like an adult male impala, she would probably disembowel it and then try and take it up a tree or leave it under a bush. and then go and fetch the cub and hope nothing had come to take it. And like I say, in areas where leopards are or experience competition from predators such as lions and hyenas, they will normally try and hoist kills if they can. They can lift up to their body weights up a tree, but say an adult male impala will weigh more than she does, and so she'd struggle to get it up a tree. There are the lights of Brent in the distance. We're just going to pull onto the clearing here, see what we can see, and then I shall greet you for the night. Yeah. I hit something there. Huge puff of dust. I think I hit a termite mound. I hope the termites were further underground than the car was. You can see the last embers of the day there. Just going to stop here for us. Turn the lights off so that you can experience the final bits of the night. So you can see the dying embers of the African sun there, set over the Drakensberg mountain range to the west. And the changing of the guard has happened. So all around there are a few nightjars calling, hopefully some lions later tonight, and we'll try and find them in the morning for you. So I hope you've had a good time tonight. Thanks for all your contributions. They've been much appreciated. We've had a great time, and we'll see you in the morning.